Well, hello there and welcome to the Trending Now podcast for a Friday, September the 15th, 2023. Thanks for checking us out. However you found us here, Louie Butko, Trending Now podcast producer, host, fill-in host on Trending Now. Got to do that in the last couple of weeks. That was a lot of fun. You may have realized that there was no episode last week. That's because I was on The Big Show, which was a lot of fun. And speaking of The Big Show, and speaking of the host of The Big Show, we got some news that we're going to get to as we got a jam-packed show coming up because, as always, it has been a very busy week on Trending Now, which you can catch every Monday to Friday, 7 p.m. on CHCH, CHCH.com, and on our Trending Now socials. And if you miss it at 7, you can catch it again at 11:30 following the CHCH evening news at 11. And again, lots to get to. There was week 1 of the NFL season. Apple released some new products or announced some new products. The VMAs had happened. The Blue Jays suck. There's lots to get to on today's show, but we have some Trending Now family news that we want to share for you here. As recently, our very own Kelly Botelho and her husband, Marco, welcomed a beautiful baby girl, Gia. And I'll let you know that both mother and daughter are doing well. We're super happy for Kelly and super excited to have another family member here on the Trending Now family. It does mean that we will not be seeing Kelly for a little bit here on the show. And as you know, Kelly was filling in for Nicole Martin. And now filling in for Kelly Botelho is our good friend. You know him. He's very familiar to Trending Now. He's filled in as a reporter. He's been a producer behind the scenes. He's joined us here on the podcast. But welcome, Matt Ingram, officially to the Trending Now family.
The family. I'm an official family.
Yeah, you were kind of like that cousin that sometimes we had to like call and be like, maybe you should come to this.
At least you didn't say weird uncle.
Yeah, I was very close. I tried to think.
I felt you were going in that direction.
Okay, so I've learned that I'm never gonna call one of my coworkers older than me. I'm never gonna assign whether it's my work mom or my work older sister.
Well, we gotta be similar
the same
ages.
person. Yeah.
We're
work brothers.
Yeah.
We're Trending Now brothers.
Trending Now brothers. I like that.
The bro show. We were trying to say I didn't want to go there, but that's what we're doing. First of all, I do have to let our viewers, our listeners know that the Trending Now podcast is presented by the Sunday night blockbuster. Buckle up for the ultimate adrenaline rush as Joseph Gordon-Levitt stars in Premium Rush. It's a high-speed chase through the bustling streets of New York City with every pedal stroke taking you closer to the edge of your seat. Don't miss Premium Rush this Sunday at 8 p.m. only on CHCH. You have seen this movie.
I have. I saw it when it first came out. I enjoyed it.
In theaters?
No.
Okay.
Where was it? It was on TV. It was on cable for a while. We're of an age where it's like, remember like Fox 29?
Yeah.
You know, TBS and stuff. They play the Saturday afternoon movie.
So many commercials in those.
Oh my God.
So many commercials in those movies. Looking forward to that one. That is Sunday night, 8 p.m. Premium Rush. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who's been around forever. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, you'll be taking over for the next few months.
I'm really excited.
Yeah. What is it about this show that kind of drew you to? I mean, you wanted to join the show.
I did. Yeah, I asked.
You asked. You wanted to be here. What draws you into the show? What do you like about it? I wanted to be
a reporter on it, so I wanted to be Manesa's backup. I wanted to be producer Laura's backup. And then when we all found out that Kelly was pulling a Nicole Martin and going on mat leave, I asked to be Kelly's backup. Because what I like about Trending Now is we get to talk about things we don't get to talk about normally on the 6, and we get to go a little bit more in depth. You know, on 6 o'clock news, it's a local story. Television news is so focused. We have an angle. We have people we talk to. With this, we get to kind of widen it all. You know, I thought it was so cool yesterday. We were able to lead the show with sports. Everybody's talking about the Blue Jays, so why wouldn't we talk about the Blue Jays, right? So it's much different. It's a news program, but it's a different news program. So it's exciting for me to get a new opportunity.
Yeah, I really like the international aspect of it because, I mean, we do a great job. You know, the writers at 6 o'clock, the producers at 6 o'clock do a great job making sure we're covered so that somebody watches. But it's that little extra, that little beyond the headlines. And fortunately, we were able to do that on a week like this, which was so tragic, especially in Northern Africa. 2,900 people have died following a catastrophic earthquake in Morocco. The expectations are the death toll will rise there. And then 3 days later, 2,000 kilometers away, but still, we're talking North Africa, there was intense flooding. It led to the collapse of 2 dams, which has led to the death of more than 11,000 people, more than 30,000 people missing. I mean, these are really tragic images coming out of Morocco, out of Libya. And again, it's something that we're able to go a little bit more deep on for our viewers.
Well, and what people at home probably don't know is that we, along with other news organizations, are connected in with companies that provide on-the-ground video. That's where we get this video. It's not like we're going over to Libya and shooting this stuff. And with that, you get to see such a variety of perspectives. And with Trending Now, you know, I had 3 minutes to talk about Morocco. I had 3 minutes to talk about Libya. That means we get in a lot of content that, you know, a regular news program just isn't going to have time to show you. You know, with my story about Libya, man, what a tragic story that is. You know, we're talking about it, but there really aren't words. I mean, because that 11,000 number, I believe that's just confirmed dead in the city of Derna. Yeah. Derna was one of several cities who were hit in this. The worst hit, and you're right, it was the one that was hit by those 2 dams breaking. Really tragic stuff. And I think it's so important for people to realize that we're part of a larger global world where, you know, we're so safe here in Southern Ontario, living our blessed lives. But a lot of terrible things can happen. If we can shine a light on that, I think that's a service to our viewers.
Especially when there is so much going on locally. Yeah. Which, you know, we do our best and we do a great job covering all that local stuff. To be able to bring the world to a channel that people are already watching, that's CHCH, they're already tuned in for their local news. It's just that extra little bit. I don't want to call it an extension of the newscast, but it really is an opportunity for us to go beyond the headline, to bring in experts that, you know, we don't really have time for on 6 o'clock. And I know, you know, how you're going to make it your own, right? That's the other fun part about getting to do this. I was fortunate enough to get to host Wednesday. I
loved that.
I was hosting last week as well. You know, Kelly, you know, little peek behind the curtain. We told you Kelly had a baby. Yeah. The baby came a little bit earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
You were always going to start Monday.
Yeah.
But we had to cover a couple of days last week.
Yeah.
And, and they asked me, and I said sure.
And I loved it. I thought it was so great. Yeah, you know, and I mean, you know, we all wear a number of different hats here at this company. And I think that's another thing about Trending Now, though, that's cool, because here you and I are sitting here. I mean, I don't know who your backup is. We're gonna figure out a backup for you. But, you know, you could be here as the host in a couple of weeks. You know, I could be Sebben one week. Like, we all kind of intershift. So that's pretty cool.
And it really, especially like, you know, the team we have on Trending Now, and, you know, it speaks to the larger team we have here at CHCH. Like, everybody's really, like, you're just rooting for each other. Yeah. And you're supporting each other because of the fact that, like, you know what it takes to do Laura's job. Like, you've been in that role where maybe, like, you know, the stories aren't as easy that day. Like, it's really hard to go after. I mean, not that you would, but to go after somebody to be like, hey, like, you're not pulling your weight. Like, people, I mean, me, maybe, but like other people, it's hard. Like,
no,
it's
Louie Butko? No way.
You've been in that role. You've been in that role, and you know, like, the work that goes into it and how much, you know, we care about what we do.
Well, and I hope that comes across in the podcast, because we're all such buddies. You know, we really are. I mean, there's a few people we hate, but we don't mention those names. Is this recording? Is this live?
No.
Don't listen to me. I'm not talking the truth. But this camaraderie. Definitely. Well, you needed something to.
Yeah, exactly. Or else it's a clean edit, and I got nothing to do after this. So I had to go for it.
The camaraderie of us all, I think, is going to make us a better team for telling stories. And I hope people at home like listening to the podcast, like watching the show. And, you know, and then the best part is you'll get 4 months with me, and then Nicole will come back in January. Yeah. And it'll be like a whole different show.
I'm really excited for Nicole. I mean, not that I'm really excited for Nicole to be back. Thanks
a lot.
That was what I was about to say. But, like, I mean, like, Nicole and Laura Sebben, our producers, I mean, this is their
show.
This is their show. We're fortunate to be along for the ride. I'm excited to have Nicole, because the podcast was always going to be a part of it. Yeah. And then they just put me in this role in February and say, hey, why don't you host a podcast on Friday about Trending Now? And I was like, sure. And now it's been 7 months I've been doing this every Friday coming in. And like you said, it's that sense of pride in that this is our show that we get to do together. I'm happy you're a part of it, buddy. You obviously,
well, thank you.
You know, we know each other well. We've gotten to know each other last year and a bit, and it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know Laura's already pulling her out of her hair, knowing that she's going to have to deal
probably.
with both of us.
Deal with both of us.
Dealing with both of us, especially on Fridays. Like, Fridays are supposed to be the day you're, like, the most relaxed going into the weekend, right? Like, oh, it's Friday. Like,
I'm sure we're going to mess up the timing of the show, talking too much, getting off topic.
That's what we do is get off topic.
We're totally off topic
what
now.
What else are we going to do? Yeah.
I'm enjoying every second of it, so it's pretty good.
You mentioned the Blue Jays. We're going to get into that with Laura coming up in a little bit. You talked to Mike Wilner. I mean, I'm like the 24,000 people that were there. I'd be ready to boo.
Yeah.
I'm also apathetic about, like, I just don't care. Which is a terrible way to feel about a team that's close to a playoff spot, game and a half back. But they're just like, shrug your shoulders.
And I think, like, go back and viewers at home, go back and watch the Mike Wilner interview. Listeners at home.
And viewers.
I like this, though. Watch it on YouTube.
Watch this on YouTube.
Mike made a good point. Like, this team has done objectively pretty well as a baseball team. They're a game and a half back of the playoffs. That's not horrible. But at the same time, we all had this expectation coming into the year that these guys were going to be in the playoffs. So it was going to be October baseball for sure. And now here we are trying to figure out why that gentleman, a fantastic ball player, an all-star, can't seem to get on bag.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. for those listening.
Excuse me. I'm pointing at the plasma here.
We have to do that.
We have
now.
a nice
It's
picture.
a podcast.
Yeah,
I know it feels very TV.
I'm very TV first. I'll get better at this.
All right, good. NFL Week 1. Anything you want to add on that? I'm about to dive into it, but
no. You know what? Talk to Manesa. I felt so bad for Aaron Rodgers and Jets fans.
I did.
Really? It's just like you want to end your career like that.
He'll come back. He'll be annoying. He's not going anywhere. He's 39.
But you think he's going to rehab from an Achilles at 39?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
he's going to do his own research.
He's going to do his own
He'll be fine.
He's going to check his own sources.
Listen, I jokingly say, like, I'm a Bills fan, so I don't really care.
Right.
But I've also, like, not NFLers. I've been close to professional athletes, with my time covering the Hamilton Tiger Cats. I know the amount of work that they put into it.
Yeah.
Yes, there is that little bit of ting of, like, this guy isn't going to be able to play this season. But it's the Jets, so, like, that's the other part of me. I was like, I don't care. Matt Ingram, I know you're a very busy guy. What are you working on today?
Yes, sir. So today, what am I doing today? Okay, the United Auto Workers strike in the U.S.
Huge.
We're talking about that because it does have a lot of potential impacts on Canada. It comes down to how long this thing lasts. Yeah. If it's a long strike, obviously the impacts are going to be much worse. If it's a short strike, I mean, even simple things, like let's say you want to go to the dealership. Well, the inventory's topped up right now, but 13,000 auto workers off the line means eventually that inventory is going to start to decrease and maybe the car you want to buy isn't available.
I noticed the executive pay has been a big topic of conversation. $29 million for the president of GM, $20 million Stellantis, which is Chrysler, by the way.
Yep.
You're going to hear that a lot. Stellantis.
Well, and
I've heard it a lot.
The quote you've probably heard by now from the UAW president in the U.S., and I don't know if this is true. This is just what's been bumping around. He's claiming that they could double every worker's pay and still make profits. I don't know if that's true. Yeah. I'm digging into it right now, so hopefully I'll have an answer by 7 o'clock.
We'll be tuned in.
All right.
Matt Ingram, thanks for doing this. Appreciate it.
Of course. Anytime, Louie.
All right. That's Matt Ingram, who will be filling in for Kelly Botelho, who's filling in for Nicole Martin. And guess what? If he's away, then it'll be Louie Butko filling in for Matt Ingram, and I hear Don is already rolling his eyes in the newsroom right now after hearing me say that, because I've said that 4 times in the last week. In the times that I filled in. So, but yeah, Matt Ingram, thanks for joining us. Let's talk about the NFL as week 1 of the NFL season is come and gone. And there were lots of ups and downs, including the Miami Dolphins, who were lights out. They won 36-34 against the LA Chargers as Tua Tagovailoa threw for 466 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's the 3rd most in week 1 in the Super Bowl era. And coincidentally enough, the other 2 involved the Miami Dolphins. Tom Brady threw 517 yards against the Dolphins in 2011, and Dan Marino threw 473 yards in 1994 against New England. So it was a great showing for Tua Tagovailoa, for Tyreek Hill as well in that game, as the Dolphins started 1-0. Meanwhile, the San Francisco 49ers, another team expected to be among the Super Bowl favorites as the season goes on. They demolished the Pittsburgh Steelers. Similar story for the LA Rams. They beat up on the Seattle Seahawks 30-13. The Green Bay Packers down the Chicago Bears. New quarterback. Same result for Green Bay over Chicago as Jordan Love, the new first game as the team's new starter, defeated the Bears for a 9th straight time. Yeah, Green Bay owns Chicago. And this one was pretty surprising. Sunday Night Football last week, the Dallas Cowboys shut out the New York Giants 40-0 as they got embarrassed at home at MetLife Stadium on Sunday Night Football. And then on Monday Night Football, at that very same stadium, less than 24 hours later, Aaron Rodgers' debut season with the Jets ended almost as abruptly as it began after he tore his Achilles just 4 snaps into action, putting an early end to his 2023 season. The team announced on Tuesday that the 39-year-old 4-time NFL MVP will miss the entire season due to a full tear in his left Achilles tendon. Rodgers went down on the 4th offensive snap Monday night against Buffalo when Bills linebacker Leonard Floyd tackled him to the turf. Despite that, the Jets did go on to beat my Buffalo Bills 22-16 in overtime. Bills got the Raiders this week at home. It's their home opener at New Era Field in Buffalo. To some trending international news now. North Korea's Kim Jong-un rolled into Russia on an armored train to see President Vladimir Putin for an important meeting. It was Kim's first trip outside the country after 3 years of pandemic isolation. He got the royal welcome. He was greeted with a red carpet and a brass band. And it seems like the leader didn't waste any time as he sat down with Russian officials promptly after his arrival. Now, according to reports, the Kremlin said the visit would cover bilateral relations and the situation in the region, but a U.S. official said that the two were expected to discuss an arms deal, although both countries denied those claims. Both leaders taking a big chance with this meeting as there's a lot on the line for the two countries who have faced sanctions. Russia, because of the war in Ukraine, and North Korea, because of its nuclear weapons program. The visit has sparked concern among NATO countries, Ukraine, and others, but the two countries involved could also face potential dangers. The White House has warned North Korea multiple times about making any arms deal with Russia, adding that it would pay a price. An arms deal would violate numerous United Nations Security Council resolutions. Some say rather than the sanctions, the West, Japan, and South Korea should provide more support for Ukraine to overcome the war as a stand against Russia. Now, as a recap, Putin told Kim that he was, quote, very glad to see him, while Kim thanked Putin for the invitation to visit Russia, quote, despite being busy. That according to Russian state media. Meanwhile, not long before the meeting began, South Korea and Japan said they detected the launch of 2 short-range ballistic missiles from the east coast of North Korea. Trending news in the world of technology this week as Apple presented its annual showcase of new products and features today. Apple's latest product line hopes to reverse a mild slump that has seen its sales drop. Company's stock price has dipped by nearly 10% since mid-July, which, of course, is dropping Apple's market value. But investors were apparently not impressed with what Apple rolled out this week, as the company's shares were down by nearly 2% during afternoon trading following the announcements. As has been the case with Apple and other smartphone makers, the 4 types of iPhone 15 models announced this week aren't making any major leaps in technology. The basic iPhone 15 models have been redesigned to include a shape-shifting cutout on the display screen that Apple calls its dynamic island for app notifications. They're also getting a faster chip used in last year's Pro and Pro Max models. The iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max will also be equipped with what Apple maintains is the equivalent of 7 megapixel camera, or 7 camera lenses, and that will include a periscope style telephoto lens that will improve the quality of photos taken from far distances. Where are we going to stop when it comes to camera quality on your phone? I mean, like, I get it. Like, they look like, I have an iPhone, I want to say 14, and the pictures look nice, but like, at what cost? At what cost are these pictures looking nice? They look great, but the new bells and whistles to the top line model is enough to boost its price by $100. The iPhone 15 Pro Max, $1,600. And I've had this discussion before. I don't think it's out of the question to just drop $1,600 for a phone. Like, that might be a hot take, but I know people spend a lot of money on like a MacBook or something, but I'm somebody who buys their phone like outright, and then I get to pick my plan. So that's my advice to you, listener and viewer. Just pay outright if you can. I understand that you might not be able to, but with a phone, you can usually shop around. Anyway, my little tip for you. New models will be available in stores September 22nd. One of the biggest changes that Apple announced is a new way to charge iPhones and any future generation. This was kind of the big news, as the company is switching over to the USB-C standard, being forced to phase out the Lightning port cables that it rolled out in 2012 because of a mandate that European regulators plan to impose next year. So, very cool that you don't need to worry about that one stupid Lightning cord charger that you have, because sometimes you lose it, and sometimes you have a million USB-C chargers. But yeah, it's the same phone. It's the same phone, I think. Meanwhile, other international trending news this week. U.S. Republican House Speaker Kevin McCarthy announced Tuesday that he endorsed launching a formal House committee impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden.
I am directing our House committee to open a formal impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden. This logical next step will give our committees the full power to gather all the facts and answers for the American public. Now, I do not make this decision lightly. And regardless of your party or who you voted for, these facts should concern all Americans.
Now, McCarthy repeated several allegations made by some of his GOP colleagues, including that when he was vice president, Biden joined meetings with Hunter Biden's business partners, that the U.S. Treasury Department has flagged suspicious financial activity by the Biden family, and that the president has lied about his knowledge of his family's business deals. But so far, the Republicans have provided no evidence. Now, a White House spokesperson called McCarthy's move, quote, extreme politics at its worst, while Democrats blasted this decision as caving to pressure from his right flank.
There is not a shred of evidence that President Joe Biden has committed a crime. This is an illegitimate impeachment inquiry.
This is the extremist Republicans trying to figure out how they can use the business of the American people, doing the work we're supposed to do, as leverage to try to improve their political position.
Now, while some notable Republicans praised McCarthy's decision, GOP Colorado Congressman Ken Buck, who is a key member of the House Judiciary Committee, questioned the move by McCarthy.
I have not seen any evidence that links President Biden to Hunter Biden's activities at this point. I will be getting a briefing later in the week. I'm looking forward to understanding more of what the Oversight Committee has uncovered. But at this point, I have not seen that evidence.
Now, the inquiry comes as a September 30th deadline to keep the government funded and avert a shutdown looms. It also coincides with threats to bring forward a motion to remove McCarthy as Speaker.
The path forward for the House of Representatives is to either bring you into immediate total compliance or remove you pursuant to a motion to vacate the chair.
On the topic, also trending this week, Hunter Biden has been indicted on 3 gun charges, prompting reactions from both Democrats and Republicans. The son of President Joe Biden has been charged with making false statements on a federal firearms form and illegal possession of a weapon. Prosecutors allege he purchased the firearm while he was under the influence of crack cocaine, which in America is illegal. The case was originally going to be dismissed without charges under a plea deal, but that agreement with prosecutors fell apart after a federal judge's review this year. Also trending this week, Taylor Swift took home the top prize at the 2023 MTV Video Music Awards for her Anti-Hero music video.
And the VMA goes to Taylor Swift.
Now, the night's first presenters were none other than NSYNC, who reunited to hand the Best Pop Video Award to Swift. Swift later returned to the stage to pick up the Song of the Year trophy for Anti-Hero and also the Best Direction Award. In total, she took home 9 of the 11 awards she was up for, including Artist of the Year in a category that was made up entirely of women nominees for the first time in VMA history. Other VMA winners include rapper Ice Spice, who was on hand to accept the Best New Artist Award. A Best Afrobeats Award was handed out the category's inaugural year. Colombian icon Shakira received the Video Vanguard Award and performed an incredible bilingual melody of her decades of hits. Diddy got the Global Icon Award. Lots of live performances, a celebration of 50 years of hip-hop. To get into all of that, we bring in the producer of Trending Now. It's Laura Sebben.
Hi.
What's up, Sebben?
Not much. What's up with you?
Not much. The VMAs, were they everything you wanted them to be?
They're fun. They're a fun award show. They're one of the more fun ones.
Are they drinking?
To actually sit through. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's alcohol served in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Which always makes them like 10 times more fun. That's why the Golden Globes are the best ones of the
because they're drunk.
Yes.
At that point. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I thought NSYNC was going to perform.
No.
They just came out all together.
No.
I did see a teaser for their new song though. Did you see that?
For the Trolls movie.
It sounds all right. I bet you the song's going to be a banger.
But I feel like people are forgetting that they did like a little like reunion thing not that long ago. Like they all came out on.
Did JT get like a Lifetime Achievement Award or something?
I don't really remember, but I just remember like not long ago they all came out on stage together and everybody was freaking out and thought they were going to do an album. So that's why I thought it was weird that everybody was like freaking out because it's not the first time it's happened.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Shakira got the Video Vanguard Award. Lil Wayne. I tried to tell somebody that. They're like, I was telling Emily Vukovic in the canteen, actually, because we were talking about, how we've messed up this week on, she hasn't, but I have. And I said, like, I'll read anything that's in the prompter. So I wrote it as Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
And I didn't even notice. I wasn't until I got out back in the newsroom that you and Selena really like just laid into me for my lack of pop culture knowledge on that.
Lil Wayne. You really like you really Bob Cowan'd yourself.
Little Wayne. Yeah?
Yeah.
Show him my age.
That.
Yeah. Just
except for you know who Lil Wayne is, so you
I honestly didn't know it was Lil. Like Lil Wayne.
How? I feel like his songs were like big when we were in like high school.
Lollipop.
Yeah.
Okay.
A Millie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
It was all right. Taylor Swift, 9 trophies. How do you feel about that?
Pretty big. I mean, she had like one of the biggest albums of the year, both like musically and like video wise. So it tracks.
Did she direct them?
Yeah, that's what she's been doing for a while now, directing all her music videos. Yeah.
That was fun.
It was fun.
The award show was fun. What hasn't been fun has been 7 p.m. every night this week, turning on my TV.
Yeah.
Well, 7:30 after Trending Now.
Yeah.
Turning on my TV, switching the channel to whatever it is. The Blue Jays game.
Yep.
They've been awful. What do you make of them?
I was talking to Bubba about this last night, how like I am the most like optimistic fan always. Like when everybody's crapping on the Raptors, I'm like, guys, like
we can do this.
Come on, like give them the benefit of the doubt. Like cheer them on. Like everybody like pooping on them is not gonna help. Like, and I do the same with the Blue Jays all year until September rolls around. And then I feel like a true sports fan in September because then I'm like stressed and I'm like, these guys suck. I hate watching them. What's wrong with them? And like even this morning, my dad was like, my mom, because I'm going to the game. I had tickets to the game on the 30th. They're in town against the Rays.
When did you buy those tickets?
A while ago.
That's like one of the last.
Yes.
It's like the last weekend.
Yeah. And so we're doing like a big group outing because it's my birthday and I wanted to go see the Blue Jays for my birthday.
Thinking they'd be good.
And my mom's like, you should just not go. And I was like, well, like they could win every game.
Yeah.
Like for the rest of the month. You never know with baseball, but like it's really hard to believe in them after what we just saw.
Well, I mean, what do you make of the like apathy? Like there's just like, I just don't care. Like, and clearly it's sticking around. Like this week, you know, whether it was back to school, I was talking to Tim Bolin about this. He went to one of the games.
Yeah,
this week.
yeah, that's right.
He said it was dead. 23,000 people. The Boo Birds were out.
The Boo Birds.
Right? Like it's not good. Like, what do you make of the apathy of this team? Like, they're just like not fun. Like, are they just not people you want to root for?
I think they are fun. Like, that's part of like why I like got more into like the Blue Jays. I'm not like a baseball fan at all. Like there are teams that I could plug into the morning live ticker that I'm like, this is a team in the league. Like I had no idea. I literally just follow these guys. And part of the reason for that is because I would go to the games with like my dad and like my cousins. And I just like thought the squad was always like really fun. And you kind of like get attached to the squad. And I really like this squad. But I think the difference this year is they don't seem to care that they're losing. Like I remember last year and the year before, like they were really like hungry for it, and now they just are like, it seems like they're all like and you can kind of like sense that when like John Schneider comes out after the game and is like, guys, like relax, it's not that serious. Like, no guy, it is serious. Like if we don't win, we don't make it. And like we don't have a team that we know for sure is going to be our team next year. Like we could go into next year and have a crap team and be a dud team for like the next 10 years again. Like we have a team that can do it now. Yeah. So like stop giving them a pass.
The one thing, and like this, it kind of coincides this week, is somebody who's been watching the Jays who had like tickets to those playoff games, the bat flip games, like that 2015, 2016, like watching Alex Anthopoulos, who is now general manager of the Atlanta Braves, have the incredible success he's having. Yeah. So at one point this week, you know, they had clinched, the Jays were pooping the bed, and I tweeted like, oh, like, remember when we had this guy? Like, could you imagine letting this guy walk?
Yeah.
Who's now gone on and built an incrable team in Atlanta that's hitting more home runs. And not even
that, like he's had like winning teams.
LA Dodgers, exactly. Like he's built the Atlanta team. And we have Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro,
who just won't let go.
And I tweeted, I'm like, oh, could you imagine letting this guy walk? And someone was like, well, at least the renovations at the stadium look nice. Because that's what these guys were brought in to do. We're to make money for Rogers. And I think like,
but I think
the ownership, and then the one thing, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but the one thing I thought of when I, you know, saw that tickets were 24,000, or, you know, there were only 24,000 people there. It just happened to come on the same time that a report from rentals.ca says rent is $2,200 a month averaging for a one-bedroom place across. Like those two things are related in my mind.
Yeah.
Like if I have disposable income, I'm not going to go watch a crappy baseball team.
Yeah, it's true. And
if I have limited disposable income, which again, people more and more these days do.
Like you said, these guys were brought in to like make money for Rogers and whatever, but I feel like they're going to lose money because they've already got people who have been seasons ticket faithfuls being like, we can't afford
our new seats.
So like we're not going to get seasons tickets. And even just like me wanting to go to this game, I had to like put a down payment.
What?
Because the guy was like, you want to lock in the prices because they're going to go up. And I do not remember the last time that that's happened with like a Blue Jays game. Like the home opener usually is like a little more money, but like I've never seen the ticket prices fluctuate so much in a season than I have this season. And like my cousin even noticed it because she lives right in downtown Toronto, and she went to a ton of games last year because she just buy the games right before like a $10 seat, and like now she's like, you can barely get those anymore, like unless you do the general admission one, which she doesn't really want to do because she doesn't want to stand the whole time. She's like, it's so hard to find a ticket for under $20 now. And it's never been like that.
I would do general admission just because I don't sit in the seat. I spend more time like in the social
Which,
areas.
if that's what you want, that's what you want, right? Yeah. But
big plans for the weekend?
No, because I did not get Morgan Wallen tickets.
Okay,
so I don't have big
those tickets are insanely expensive. Speaking of expensive tickets, so is this the dynamic pricing? Is that what's happening? Are we looking at the Ticketmaster, or is that just the tickets are set at whatever they were?
Well, I
sold out
actually
secondary market?
didn't even get to see what the price of the tickets were because they did like one of those verified fans and I didn't get picked, and then they all sold out. But apparently, like the cheapest ticket you could get was $270, and that was a lawn ticket. So
he's playing Bud stage.
Yeah, 3 nights.
3 nights of Bud stage.
And my friend and I,
he probably could have sold that Rogers Center.
Honestly, he probably could have. It's actually crazy.
Yeah.
But my friend and I were looking at SeatGeek because he, I guess, didn't allow resales through Ticketmaster. So there's absolutely no tickets on Ticketmaster. And we were looking at SeatGeek last night because we wanted to go to Saturdays to see like if we bought the tickets at like 7:30, half an hour into the show when the openers are already on, how cheap they would be. The cheapest ticket we could find was like $350.
For that night show.
Yeah.
For last night show.
For last night show. So we're not going.
Maybe you just put him on in the background, listen to his 30-song albums that he puts out. You'll be fine.
no,
You wouldn't know. You won't know.
Well, now I don't want to listen to him because I'm mad that I can't
because
go.
you're bitter.
Yeah. What about you? What are you doing?
My sister has a housewarming thing. So my little nephew Levi is my biggest fan.
Yes, that's right. We've seen pictures.
I've tweeted out. He's always watching. So he'll get to see me in person for the first time in a little bit. So I'm curious if he recognizes me from TV. If he starts crying as like that guy is on TV at 8 months old. If he's like there's just like some look. I doubt it, but it's just funny because he always watches. My sister like always puts him in front of the TV.
Yeah. Well, he should recognize you because I feel like that's probably why he like stays in front
because
of
of my
the
big
TV.
head. Because my big head.
Sure.
Just like him. He's got a big head. He's like, well, somebody who looks like me on TV with a big head.
Representation matters.
Representation. Support big-headed people. Laura, thanks for doing this. I know you're busy, so thank you.
Thanks, Louie.
All right, coming up, my thanks to Laura Sebben, by the way. Coming up, Manesa Dhanabalan will be by in just a little bit. But first, we have been tracking this story for a couple of days now, and it will likely be something we'll be looking at next week as well. And that is Hurricane Lee, which at one point was a Category 5 hurricane, is now a Category 2, but it's 430 kilometers southwest of Bermuda. It's churning out sustained winds at 155 kilometers per hour, and by the time it makes landfall in Nova Scotia on Saturday, it's expected to become a powerful post-tropical storm. But the Canadian Hurricane Center says the post-tropical storm is still expected to be strong. The center says Lee's track could take the storm through an area anywhere between New Brunswick's Grand Manan Island and Nova Scotia's Shelburne County on Saturday night. Now, Environment Canada says hurricane strength winds could gust as high as 120 kilometers per hour in some southwestern Nova Scotia counties and New Brunswick regions. Residents of Nova Scotia's Atlantic coast and those living near the Bay of Fundy in New Brunswick are also being warned that significantly higher water levels could lead to localized flooding and dangerous surf. Officials in New Brunswick are asking residents to plan ahead, and those in Prince Edward Island are also preparing for the storm. Meanwhile, it has been a very, very busy week for Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. It started in India. His plane wasn't working. He had to get back in London for caucus meetings. Manesa Dhanabalan is here to recap this week's caucus meetings in London. But before we get to that, Manesa, welcome back.
Hi, Louie.
It feels like it's been like a month since you've been on the show. It's been a long time.
It has been a long time.
A lot has happened. Your sister finally got married.
Finally, after
We had been
months.
talking about it for months. Every weekend you've had for the last 3 months has been something wedding related.
Yep.
How did it go?
It was great. It was a beautiful wedding. And I lost my voice because of the wedding,
it's still coming. It's still working its way back, eh?
It was on its way back. And then the other day, I think I was talking to my cousin on the phone, and then we got like very hyped and we were yelling. So I lost it again.
Yeah.
So
but it was fun.
It was very
lots
fun.
Lots of family time, all that
400 people at that wedding, Louie.
What?
400 people.
What?
It is a big wedding.
400 people? How much was your family?
Probably just like less than 150 was mine.
Okay.
Yeah, most of
So
it
a lot of his.
was his family.
Wow, 400 people. I don't even know 400 people. Like, if you had asked me to like make a list of 400 people to invite to something, I would like be done at like 50.
I don't know
Yeah.
400 people, and at that wedding, I saw people that I haven't seen in like almost a decade. So that was nice.
That is nice.
To reunite.
Yeah, and then you had some time to recover from it.
Somewhat.
Somewhat. Well, that's good. Well, welcome back.
Thank you.
You've been covering this Liberal caucus meeting. What are the big takeaways? I mean, this is a big meeting because the polls are showing that Pierre Poilievre is gaining ground or is leading the polls right now. He's been out campaigning. He's got his common sense. Like, they're feeling the pressure. The Liberals are feeling the pressure. What did you take out of this week's caucus meetings?
Well, the complaints are that a lot of the things that they're saying was stuff that was promised in like the 2015 election. Right?
Yeah.
So when it comes to affordability, like the housing crisis, and then also food inflation, right? So food inflation, they have a meeting with grocery CEOs coming up on Monday. And actually, Sylvain Charlebois will also be at that meeting. And I actually spoke to him for the story today.
Yeah.
So yeah, like they've been told to come up with a plan to stabilize prices by Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Right. So how this is going to work out, we don't know. And then also the Liberal government is cutting the GST costs on building new apartment buildings.
Again, something that was promised in 2015.
Exactly.
Now that their popularity is dipping, and I think it's worth reminding people that the Liberals are in a minority government right now. They do have the support. There is a deal signed with the NDP and them that, you know, and the Bloc Québécois that also is kind of supporting them through this. But there could be an election at any time. Right? Like that's kind of the scary part.
Yeah.
The groceries, we've talked about this. Kelly and I talk about this all the time. Like, what do you notice, like, when you go out and get groceries? Is there one thing that really jumps out at you that it's like, holy crap, that's expensive? Like, for me, it's like just produce in general. Like, just trying to eat healthy and trying to get produce.
That's my biggest issue.
That's so expensive.
You could easily go get, like, but you know, that's the thing, right? You think that the junk food is actually more cheaper.
No.
But then when I went to go get, because I like cereal. I go get a box of cereal, and it's like, literally, the healthy cereal is the same price as the junk cereal. Like, Cinnamon Toast Crunch was the same price as Honey Bunches of Oats. Do you know how pissed I was?
I don't think Honey Bunches of Oats is like a healthy cereal.
Okay,
maybe like
it's a
healthier.
healthier.
Maybe. Yeah, even that. So you went with the Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
I went with Honey Bunch.
Oh, no.
It's healthier. It's healthier. I get some almonds and some stuff in it.
Look at you. Well,
I think I've been told a lot that, like, the oil is the biggest thing.
Really?
That, like, yeah, like anytime I go to the grocery store with my mom, which I do sometimes.
Yeah.
She's like, look at the oil prices. Like, every single time, like, it's a new thing. It's like the oil prices were never this high. And I do see that.
Yeah.
I do see that. And I think
like
the milk
virgin
prices
olive
too,
oil
right?
and stuff like that. Like the good stuff.
Yeah.
The good, not this Pam spray. That's what I get.
Pam spray?
Yeah.
I'm talking about oil.
Wait, like oil isn't like grocery? Like, no,
Yeah, like vegetable oil.
Oh, vegetable oil. Yeah, like olive oil is a.
You said Pam spray.
Yeah, but Pam is like a canola oil in a spray, though.
Oh, the spray. Okay,
Yeah.
Sorry. I don't really use. No, I use Pam spray for, like, when you're spraying barbecue before you start.
My course. That's the only time you use it on a barbecue?
Yeah, really.
What are you cooking? Like, what if you cook like an egg or a grilled cheese sandwich? Or
I use butter or oil.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of people do that.
I just do like a dash of oil a little bit.
Well, welcome back. It's great to have you back, and I say that with zero sarcasm. No, it was like when I hosted this week, and you questioned my ability to do a serious story.
No, I didn't question your ability. I said I want to see. I remember my words were, I want to see how, like, serious he can be.
Yeah,
that's it.
How did I do?
You did great.
Okay. Well, actually, because you can't see me though when I throw to you. You don't see me at all because you have.
I do see you. There's a monitor.
You have the monitor
there.
above.
Yeah,
okay, so you can see me. So
yeah.
you saw me all serious.
Yeah, I saw you all serious.
Cool. And we got to.
And you had your good poker face. That's all.
And I had said that was, other than the podcast, which we've been doing on video now for a few months. That was the first time you and I have ever, like, been on camera at the same time, on TV.
Yes, it was.
And I threw to you. And
because when you started doing sports, I was gone.
I did a great job.
You did an amazing job.
Manesa, come on.
I was trying to wait for if there was more to that, but
come on. Like, you don't have to say that. You don't have to say that.
Over here fishing for compliments.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's what I'm doing. Well, thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Manesa Dhanabalan, my thanks to her for joining me. My thanks to Laura Sebben as well. My thanks to Matt Ingram, and my thanks to you, the dedicated listener and viewer, for tuning in to the Trending Now podcast on CHCH Podcast. And I want to let you know that CHCH Podcast has relaunched, has rebranded. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode of the Trending Now podcast. Subscribe today. If you are watching the video on YouTube, there's that little QR code that you can scan. It'll bring you right to your favorite podcast player. And we hope you subscribe again so you never miss an episode. Thank you so much for joining me. We are back a week today on Friday for the Trending Now podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great weekend from all of us here at CHCH. I'm Louie Butko. Take care.